Hey everybody, I have for you today a friend of mine, and what I really think is, in my opinion, the best thing at SHOT Show 2020, the most important thing. I think that if you know active self-protection at all, if you know my story at all, my family's story, suicide prevention is a huge deal to me, and mental health care, a huge thing to me. And I want to introduce you to my friend, Sarah Joy Albrecht, and she is the founder, is that a good way? The proprietor, president of Hold My Guns. And I'm going to let her tell her story of what the organization does is really cool. I'm going to tell you that we've talked about this, and I have many times been a repository for friends. In Arizona, we private transfers are completely legal. And so, I've had friends that have been in crisis. John, I'm having intrusive thoughts. I might hurt myself, and I have a gun in the house. Can you help me? And I've gone over and grabbed them and grabbed guns and helped friends out. I've bought guns from friends who needed to get rid of guns and didn't want to even have it anymore. But that's not available everywhere, and that's not a solution everywhere. I wish it was. And I think if it is a solution in your area, you should be willing to do that for the loved ones in your life. But that's not available everywhere, not where you're from.
It's not in Pennsylvania.
Not in Pennsylvania. And so tell us about this idea of Hold My Guns. You want to tell us where it came from?
Absolutely. So Hold My Guns is a crisis firearms storage program. We're launching soon in FFLs across the United States. And the way that it came about was that we lost an 18-year-old friend to suicide with her father's firearm. And we just realized that there are not a lot of options for families who are looking to store firearms off-site while someone in their household is struggling. And so I came up with the idea to create a program that FFLs can use, that uses the consignment regulation process, and then individuals can come in, take their firearms, store it at our partnering FFLs, and then come pick it up when we feel that things are safe at home. This is a wonderful way to address the issue non-legislatively, and it also helps to address issues concerning accidental shootings and theft, as individuals who need to store firearms to whether their grandkids are coming in town and their house isn't kid-proof, or maybe they're going to be deployed for a while and they want to make sure they don't have firearms sitting in their home to be stolen. It's a great option for those scenarios as well, although the heart of it is suicide prevention.
So I really think it's cool that, again, if you got somebody who is struggling with thoughts of suicide, I think getting guns out of the house is important. If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, I think having firearms in the house is a bad idea. That's just the reality of things. You have to be prevented from access to firearms when you're suicidal. And guys, if you don't know my story, all of my kids have done acute inpatient mental health trips, and we have safe storage is ridiculously important to me. And if you were an adult, though, you're probably not going to have storage in your home you're prohibited from accessing. And so sometimes the answer is to get them out of the house.
Yes, and I've seen that. Prior to doing this work, I was a doula for over 10 years, and so in a situation like you were saying, if I had a client who had postpartum depression, she might have access to the safe as the adult in the home, and so sometimes it really does make sense to voluntarily remove firearms from the home. And our hope really is that people would feel empowered to get help while issues are small and not wait for them to escalate where they need outside intervention.
Right.
And so we've actually worked with a number of medical and mental health professionals, and they have said that this can help to change the way that they treat their patients. That they can say, hey, at our appointment coming up, I'm going to have to ask you if there are firearms in the home. Here's a place down the street, a Hold My Guns storage partner. How about you go visit them, and then you can tell me at our appointment if you have firearms in your home. So what that does is if they can treat their patient starting out from a position of dignity, then it really encourages them to have self-determination and to really want to heal versus just starting out having their property and their rights stripped away from them. And so it allows them to feel like they're doing a good thing. It's from an encouraging position.
This is a big deal because in places now where we're hearing about red flag orders, executive, protection stuff, and extremist protection orders. That was the word I was looking for. And going, wait a minute, we don't want that. I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. I'm not about that, but for people to voluntarily take charge of their own care, if they can do so in a safe way, that's good. So I'm going to tell you this. We're going to put a link in the description once this is curated. But for live, 2 things on live. Number 1, if you super chat here on live and you donate any money at all, it will go to Hold My Guns. We'll just turn it right around to them. Secondly, you can go on our GoFundMe. GoFundMe.com/HMG, Hold My Guns, ORG. So they're an org, a nonprofit. Third, if you hit the link, we use the link shortener, get-asp.com/Hold My Guns. That'll take you right there as well. Donate, please, guys. This is a moral good. You need $25,000 to get up off the ground and launched.
Yes.
And after that, an operating budget too. Like
Yes.
there's a whole lot more there.
There's a lot involved.
And I know that the community at Active Self Protection Extra is so good at this kind of thing. You guys have helped me with rescuing underage girls out of sex trafficking and helping abused and abandoned foster teens in Kansas. This is an excellent way that I think that we can help people in crisis. About 20,000 people a year die by suicide with firearms. And I think that that's a number we can bring down significantly.
Yes.
And
we do it together. It really is. It's a community effort.
Yeah, and I think that we do ourselves a disservice as the firearms community, as a gun community, when we say, well, we don't have a problem with guns and suicide. When the reality is, if you attempt suicide with a firearm, you're overwhelmingly successful. And of course, that's a huge problem. And what we really want is we want those folks to voluntarily say, you know what, I don't want to get to that place. Let me surrender. But the problem is if we do this legislatively, then they can become prohibited possessors, and now it's taken out of our hands. So if instead we say, no, go store your guns somewhere else that are kept out of there while you're in crisis, so then that way in that impulsive moment, that moment where everything is down, you don't have access. And so you've prohibited access yourself as a responsible person.
And to your point, Lenny, it's not simply removing firearms, it's stripping a person of their right to ever be able to purchase a firearm in the future. And we really want to protect the right for people to be able to defend themselves. Yeah. And a lot of times what happens is that people, they'll go through treatment or whatnot, and then they heal.
Yeah, and then they're good.
But then they have a history of maybe being 302'd or something, and then it's a legal fight of tens of thousands of dollars to get their rights restored.
Yeah.
So we really want to encourage people to get help before it escalates to that level.
And so this is really a way that, as I understand it, that volunteers as federal firearms licensees can say, and I think this really works well in places where private transfers aren't legal. They could say, no, you can store, I will hold your firearms for you.
And it's professional.
Right.
They know that they already have storage at gun shops. And the other thing too is that it repurposes gun shops to be a place in the community that they can say, we care about people.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that our clients are doing well. Something else that we're going to be offering through Hold My Guns for our storage partners is that they can use their classroom space to create some uplifting community type events. So for example, having a veteran come in and speak and talk about how they have worked on things with their reanimation, or maybe having some financial classes, really addressing some of the issues that might lead to someone having suicidal ideations, feeling a sense of hopelessness. And if we can get those kinds of programs into gun shops and create
it's a big deal.
Community hub, it's just a way to really create a lifestyle of not just protecting ourselves with firearms, but holistically thinking about how can we protect our families, our mental health, our finances, things like that.
Well, and I think there's a thing. I mean, the number one demographic of people who die by suicide with firearms is that 40 to 60-year-old male.
Yes.
You know, and that is a demographic that is kind of normally resistant to, I'm going to go to the hospital and get help, or I'm going to go see the psychiatrist, which I think is a problem and we should address culturally. I mean, but that might take time. Yeah. But if instead, hey man, I'm going to go down to the gun store and hang with my gun store buddies, and maybe we do have a class about coping skills, and we do have a class, you know, we reprogram or repurpose the idea of DBT to help. You know, I think that can be a real moral good. And
there's no stigma with someone saying, I'm just going to go down the gun shop and I'm going to go check out this class. Brings in foot traffic for the gun shop as well, but we really want to meet people where they are and to meet that higher risk demographic and to let them know that they're genuinely loved and appreciated and they have a place where they can be free about.
So what a cool thing, guys. We're connecting federal firearms licensees. And I think that maybe in some quarters outside the firearms industry, it's kind of seen like, oh, these gun stores, they just want to sell guns, they just want to make money. Firearms companies, they don't care, whatever. The reality is we're raising money here with firearms companies and good people who are trying to do good. And this then says, hey, as an FFL, come and be part of this and be part of your community for good. And connect that with people who are in crisis and with resources to help those folks who are in crisis to weather that storm and to make improvements. I think that's an incredible idea. So, of course, if people want to find out more, your website, holdmyguns.org.
Holdmyguns.org, and you can also find us on the Instagram at holdmyguns.org or Facebook on holdmyguns.org.
Holdmyguns.org. Guys, I really think this is a great thing because, A, it shows that we care. We're humans and we care about people.
Yes.
We don't care about guns. I don't fetish the firearm. I care about people. Protecting my family is part of that. Sometimes protecting a family means we don't want guns in the house. And to have an ability to do that isn't legislative, that doesn't have to involve the government.
Exactly, and as a range safety officer, that's very important to me.
Big deal.
It is not simply, it's part of our lifestyle to be safe around firearms and to just think about all aspects of what does it mean to own a firearm and be responsible for our lives. So
I think it's a big deal. So again, GoFundMe.com/HMGORG. Please make a donation today. Please, please, please. Or use the Get Asp link, get-asp.com/holdmyguns. Go to holdmyguns.org. Go find them on social media. Guys, please, even if you can't donate to the GoFundMe, share the GoFundMe, would you? I think we need to raise $25,000 to get the organization off the ground, to get the FFLs involved. I'm going to tell you, I'm going home to Arizona, and we're going to have a whole bunch in Arizona because we're going to come in like a wrecking ball there. And I just think this is a good thing, guys. We get opportunity to help people to do good and to invest a few bucks in the right thing. So I tell you, I'm going to make a donation as well. I'm going to call my wife before I tell you how much that's going to be because I don't do that and then she gets mad at me. But I tell you what, you guys make a donation today. You let me know what your donation is, and the ones that are made today, I'll match. So my wife will deal with that. So the donations that get made today, you put a comment in the description with how much you donated today to Hold My Guns to the GoFundMe account. We'll add them up and I'll match them. So I think that this is great stuff, guys. Sarah Joy, thank you so much, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you for doing good in our world. It means a lot. Guys, hope you have a great day.